Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. For 5 nights a week, we give you the latest, the greatest, the shameless, largely from the famous. I am JD, aka He Who Pods.
I'm Dash, aka Dashing D.
Yeah. All right, let's just get right to it because we were gone, and while we were gone, some super hot fire dropped, and we got to discuss it.
Super hot fire, is that what you're calling it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna call it many things, but I think amongst other things, is super hot fire.
Okay, that's that's fine.
I mean, listen, if you feel otherwise, feel free to let us know. But you probably all know by now, J. Cole dropped a song called Port Antonio on Wednesday night. Late Wednesday night, we'd already potted. And people on the internet seem to be focusing on one small portion of the song. But we're going to talk about the song in as a whole. Uh, what are your thoughts?
I said that I didn't want to hear from J. Cole after he left the battle. Um, I think that it would have always come down to, I don't think I've ever said this before, but I think it would have always come down to two people because I just don't think that three people can keep going. I don't think a three-way fight would have made sense, right?
Okay.
So I think eventually somebody would have had to exit. I think it was the way that J. Cole made his exit that, depending on which side of the fence you're on, you either think he's super mature or super corny. So I knew that eventually we would hear from J. Cole because he's he's an active artist. We
Yes.
couldn't we I never thought that he was just going to disappear and never return. I did think that he should not return for a while after having withdrawn himself so early in the game from
It's a battle.
the feud that happened this summer. Um, that being said, or this spring rather. Um, that being said, I was pleasantly surprised because he's kind of dibbled and dabbled a little bit since then. Like he's done
He's been on
features.
features.
We talked about him a couple weeks ago, um, talking about how he's the GOAT off of features, which I think is I think it's hilarious that y'all out there watching had a field day with that conversation. Um, but so we know that he's been around, but this is the first thing we've heard from him since like this is just him. And
Right.
I thought it was great. I thought it was I don't want to say typical J. Cole because I feel like that sounds bad. And I don't mean that in a I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just mean I think it was you who said to me, "Yeah, we're gonna get when you get a J. Cole record, or maybe it was someone else, but when you get a J. Cole record, you expect it to be good, right? Like you know that he's going to put his best foot forward. He's going to give you great lyrics. He's going to have a great sound.
Right.
That is to be expected. He is
Yes.
of that caliber where
Yes.
you very rarely say this was trash. And so I
Agreed.
think that's what happened. I think we got a good song out of it. Yes, people are focusing on the one part where he references Drake and he references the battle and why he got out of it and all of that. And we can talk about that um deeper. But yeah, is it a great song? Sure, it is. I do think what is the line at the end that he keeps repeating? Do you remember?
The hook, y'all niggas won't stop me.
Okay, it was the hook. Sorry. I don't the reason why I'm thinking about it is because at the end he repeats it a bunch of times and I just thought to myself, but you stopped you. I just I'm sorry if I've had a hard time letting it go, but I just thought it was funny that he chose that those were the words he chose because I was like, but you stopped you.
Yeah. And y'all niggas is the internet. Just so we're clear who the y'all niggas is, it's the internet.
No, I got
It's
that.
not it's not it's not anybody else. Well, I'm saying that because J. Cole is largely responding to the internet in this second verse.
Sure. I was just like, but you were the one who stopped
Yeah.
you.
Yes, he was.
So that was my only thought about that. As far as him addressing Drake and the things that Drake has done for him in his career, I mean, if that's the way he feels, like I feel like people get caught up on stuff like that. And I also don't know these people personally. Like
Mhm.
to show gratitude to someone who you feel has helped you and added something to your life. I don't feel like I have a say in whether that stands or not. So I don't have like a strong opinion about that because I'm just like, if if that's your friend and you saying thank you or you're showing your gratitude, you have every right to do that. I don't whether you do it on song or in a note in a nice little handwritten note or whatever it is. I feel like
That's funny. Another podcaster said we don't want to hear that on a song. Write him a note.
which is fine, but I also don't get to decide how you say that. I also think that I mean we're not stupid here, right? Like there's a point to be made by doing that publicly.
Yep.
So that's where that is. What do you think?
I think this was a great third attempt on the Dead President's beat. This is the
Oh, I
third
didn't even
time J. Cole.
say that. Sorry, I didn't
It's
even.
it's okay.
I forgot
Yeah.
where it
As
got.
a day one J. Cole fan, or maybe not day one, but early J. Cole fan, I know this is the third time he spit over Dead Presidents. Although this time they flipped it a little different and added a Cleo Soul sample. I believe it's Cleo Soul, the singing. Some people say it's kids singing. I think it's just the way they changed the vocals, but
Mhm.
maybe I'm wrong. Point is, it's a great beat. Third time we hear J. Cole on Dead Presidents, technically. I'm never mad at that. J. Cole came and delivered. There were all type of cool punchlines and all type of great lyrics, as we know J. Cole is capable of. Yes, J. Cole, you are one of the best rappers out still. Yes, you are rapping at this pedigree. Yes, there are very few rappers rapping at this pedigree. I totally agree with that line. But you know, I first would like to also respond to the internet. And I said this on Tune Together, but it hasn't come out yet. We spoke about this song on Tune Together. J. Cole is responding to the internet uh, in this song, and I would like to respond to the internet. The internet is focused on like a very short piece of this, like 4 lines. And they're saying he spoke about the battle and Drake in 4 lines. That's false. Most of the second verse is about the whole situation. Most of the second verse is about him exiting the battle, what happened with his quote unquote brothers, and then a Drake apology. Um, and so that's what I would like the internet to realize, that we can't just focus on 4 lines. If we're going to talk about it, let's talk about the whole thing. So let's talk about the second verse. In the second verse, J. Cole once again talks about peer pressure. His boy hit him and said, hey, even if you ain't shoot the gun, it don't mean it's not as deadly. And then, J. Cole responds to his friend and says he don't want to be the gun. He never wanted to be number one. He's just happy to be amongst his peers. He didn't leave because he would lose the battle. He left because he would lose a bro. He
Okay.
then says His bros went to war, and he walked away with their blood all over him. J. Cole, you were nowhere near this battle. I spoke to my boy. J. Cole said in the song, I walked away with their blood all over me.
No, but when you say it out loud, when you isolate it and you say it out loud, it's like, why are you talking about J. Cole?
J. Cole, you were not, there's no
Jermaine,
blood on you, player. You clean as a whistle.
you
Except
literally
up
said,
here.
I'm gonna go and I'm leaving and goodbye. How could you have blood on you?
You have no blood on you. You have no blood on your shirt, your hands, nothing. You were out in the rafters with the rest of us.
No, watching the fight.
Right. That's my point. In the rafters. Like
You were
he's
watching the
in the
blood as it
stands.
shed, but it did not shed on you.
You were way too far for that to happen. And so that's the next thing I would like to say. And then let's go from there. What else he says? Uh he says he would have lost a bro. His bros fought. I don't have all the quotes in front of me, but he speaks about all this stuff about the battle and how, oh, he said he don't want to play the game of algorithms and bots. So then J. Cole just starts talking about like all this different stuff surrounding the battle, his relationship with each person. He tells the internet, I didn't choose a side. Don't put that on me. All of these things. And then he gets into a Drake apology.
I just You said that he said he didn't choose a side, and you're right, he did. But to not choose a side and then to start apologizing or showing your gratitude or whatever we want to call it to one of the people in the battle is weird. Now, again, as I said before, I think it's perfectly fine if he wants to thank his friend or, you know, um, he wants to acknowledge things that his friend has done for him because he also did that. But I think that is choosing a side, to be honest.
I think it's the opposite. I think this is him telling Drake, I did not choose to side with Kendrick. I'm still your brother. I still love you. In fact, public, I need you all to know that I am very thankful for all the many things Drake has done for me.
Right. And I think that means that he's choosing Drake. I think regardless of what he's saying he's not doing, I think he's doing it in making that declaration, in calling out Drake directly. Because he could have spoke about it and not did the the Drake of it all, right?
Oh no, I disagree. Here's why. J. Cole J. Cole apologized to Kendrick months ago and said, you're my brother. I wowed out. I'm sorry. In fact, if you want to diss me back, it's all right. Hit me right on the chin with your best shot, and stuck out his chin.
Okay.
Months
All right.
ago, huh?
I said, okay, all right. I mean, you keep going, but I see where you're going.
Yeah, months ago, he never said shit to Drake. And so now it looks like he has heard the internet and he feels guilty. And he probably heard that same Drake club rant that we all saw go viral about how he don't have friends and you never know who your real friends are and yada yada yada. Cole feels like I gotta let Drake know I still love you, man. You're still my brother, man.
Yeah. For what it's worth, Drake probably lives a pretty lonely existence.
They say it's lonely at the top.
That's why I say that because you have all these industry cats who can identify with you who don't really seem to bang with you.
Right.
I know he keeps a lot of his friends from his uh, childhood or his younger days with him. So there's that. But but those people also don't fully understand what you experience in your day to day. Like they see it maybe, but they don't live it.
Right.
So it's got to be a lonely existence to especially when things like this happen, where now you're like, oh, that was my dude, and we were hanging out, and we, I did Dreamville Fest and all of these things, and there's like a phoniness about um even connecting, I guess, between industry people, like,
Yeah,
so it's gotta be lonely for Drake, and I don't know what that's like, but I would imagine that's not fun. Just for
I
whatever
agree.
that's.
I agree. But let me say something as a J. Cole fan. I'm sick of hearing apologies.
That's real.
Also, make up your mind, my nigga. Do you want to fight or you don't want to fight? Because for 3 projects, you told us, I want to fight. I'm the best. I want to prove I'm the best. And if anybody says my name, it's off with their head. There's a lot of niggas with heads still walking around.
Let that be cake.
I don't
But
understand. Like, I don't understand. Either you want to fight or you don't want to fight. And I had an argument with one of my boys about this very topic. He told me sometimes you don't want to fight your brother, but you did want to fight your brother. You put out a whole diss track against your brother. And furthermore, after you reneged, now we supposed to believe, hey, anybody could still get it. Yeah, but you keep saying for the last 3 projects, the fall off is your next and last project. When you apologized at Dreamville Fest, you said Might Delete Later was the project that leads directly to the fall off. Stop talking about fighting if you're not going to fight. I can't keep saying, yo, I'll fight anybody this week. Yo, I'll
yeah,
fight anybody this week.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
I have lost connection. Yeah. I don't know what got cut out. Anyway, whatever. I'm going to leave my specs on. My point is, you can't keep saying I'm gonna fight everybody who says my name when, in fact, 1, you are not, and 2, you keep letting us know you got 1 foot out the door. You about to be out any minute. Who you fighting?
Well, this is
And
the
you
thing I
still want to
talk.
say, even in this fake apology, you still talking about the battling. Yeah, it's not because I would have lost. I would have won the battle, but I would have lost a brother. J. Cole, please stop. We love you and you're hurting us. Stop.
I do believe that if he would have came out with new music and not said anything on some, I said what I said, you know, because he made it very clear when he withdrew that this is what he was doing. We didn't have to guess. It's not like he just disappeared, and he told us why he was leaving and what he was thinking. I think if he would have came back and not said anything about it, I think some people would have been disappointed that he didn't acknowledge it. But I also feel like he could have gotten away with it
Of
too,
course.
because he made it clear he didn't want to be a part of it. So coming back and giving us music now, we would have been like, well, you did say you weren't going to say anything, so that's fine.
Right.
Um, so I agree with that. I think he needed to maybe not. It's like, and I said this before. It's like, are you in or are you out? And that's what you're saying here, right? I I don't know, but yeah, I just kind of feel like give us the new music or give us the fall off or whatever it is we're getting. I mean, I don't believe the fall off is the last album. Y'all know my stance on that. If you don't know my stance on that, go to any episode where we talk about somebody retiring.
Right.
Any any episode, and I say the same thing every single time. In fact, I don't think we have time today, but our next topic is probably going to be very similar to that same conversation. But then just do it. Just give us the music. I think you primed us. You prepared us for you to not say anything and not get involved. You
Right.
said you didn't want to be involved, and I can't say that we respected that, but we heard you.
Right.
We heard you. So
Yeah.
uh I like J. Cole. I think he's great. And I was very hard on him several months ago. But in all honesty, I'm glad he has returned. I'm glad as you said, super hot fire.
Yeah.
He doesn't. It would be very difficult for him to lose that in 6 months.
I mean, he's
But
so good. And even in his apology,
it's amazing.
his flow and his cadence and everything is great.
He
Even
sounds
in
great.
all of the weirdness that I'm talking about, he's killing it.
Yeah, he did a great job. He sounds great. Um, it's nice to hear from him, but agreed that maybe we didn't need to hear this from him.
Right.
We could have heard anything else from him, and we would have been like, "Oh, this is so exciting! He's
Right.
back." Um, and still, if he drops something else, we're gonna listen to it, and
Of course.
if it's great, we're gonna say it's great. But yeah, I kind of feel like he should just leave it alone now. I think it's okay to put it to bed. Quite frankly, I would love for the other two to put it to bed as well because I am all beefed out. But easier said than done. So
Yeah.
I want him to put it to bed. I want Drake to, like I said, I want One Dance Drake back. Find Your Love Drake. I want one of those albums. Give us one of those. Give us a summer album. And I
Drake,
want
Drake with
Kendrick
melodies.
to, yes. And then I want Kendrick to, you know, work on his dance moves and things because he about to, I don't mean that disrespectfully. Don't take that the wrong way. Kendrick be busting ass on stage with his dance moves. I mean that in the utmost respectfully way. But I want Kendrick to be in the rehearsals doing the dance moves,
Uh,
putting together the show of a lifetime. He has been awarded a privilege that most artists don't get. And I want him to savor that opportunity, however he got there, savor that opportunity and get put on the show that we all know he can give us. That's what I want from the three of them. Like, I want J. Cole to be done with this. I want all of them to be done with this. Because I think what this did was created new lanes for them too. Like, they could do whatever they want right now. We're all paying attention.
yeah.
Not that we weren't paying attention before, but we're paying even more attention now than we were before. So I don't know. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I feel you. And I guess we end it here because we've had some tech problems, as y'all will probably see during editing. And we don't have enough time to really dive into the next topic, unfortunately. So we're going to call it. Thank you for being here. Sorry about the tech issues. It's not our fault, actually. Tech happens. And we'll see y'all tomorrow.